Vikir sat there frozen after hearing the truth. Sinclair had revealed that the Night Hound killed Bartolomeo, the head of the bourgeois family, and her father. The weight of her confession hit him instantly. He had never expected that Sinclair was the only daughter of such a powerful family. Suddenly, many small details from the past began to make sense. He remembered how sad she looked when they had talked about family before, and how she had carefully hidden her identity. He recalled the first time he had seen Juliet and how strangely familiar she had appeared. Now he understood that the resemblance came from shared blood. Sinclair's cold hatred toward him was not random shock, but deep resentment because he had killed her father in front of her. Sinclair apologized for hiding the truth for so long. She explained that she had chosen silence because carrying the family name brought danger and pressure. However, she admitted that hiding herself in front of Vikir had become too painful. She had even planned to drop out of the academy. Originally, she had intended to become valedictorian every year, win every competition, and rise to student council president. She had believed sacrificing her youth for achievement was worth it. Yet after her father's death, those goals felt empty. She realized that something else mattered more than titles or honors. Before leaving the academy, she wanted to do one final meaningful thing. That decision had led her to confess her feelings to Vikir. Crazy how she had fallen for the Night Hound, but she didn't know it yet. Vikir turned away, overwhelmed. Well, he questioned why she saw him so highly. He insisted he was not the great person she believed. Sinclair stepped closer and listed everything she admired about him. She remembered how he had helped Piggy during the entrance ceremony when others bullied him. She recalled how he had faced difficult questions without fear and jumped into the filthy sewer without hesitation to retrieve what was needed. She pointed out that he never backed down from violence, but confronted it directly. She even mentioned how he had destroyed the treasure room gate that everyone had believed indestructible. Then she revealed another painful truth. When the Night Hound had murdered her father, President Dolores had stood beside him, working together. Sinclair had once trusted Dolores as a respected senior, so the betrayal wounded her deeply. Now she felt lost and unsure who deserved her trust. The newspapers they had written together criticized the Night Hound, and she believed Vikir was the only person who truly understood her pain. In her mind, he was the last pillar she could lean on. Despite feeling sympathy, Vikir refused her confession, proving he was a tough man. He understood her emotions, but knew accepting her feelings out of guilt would be cruel. Deep inside, he carried a secret heavier than she imagined. Even if a demon had manipulated Bartolomeo's corpse, he remained the one who had killed her father. That truth chained him with guilt. Sinclair began to cry, still hoping the timing was the only issue. She asked if he might accept her someday. Vikir considered being firmer, but before he could continue, she embraced him tightly and begged for just one silent hug, something that you wished your crush would ask you to do. For a moment, Vikir saw not the proud genius student, but a fragile young girl who had lost everything. He remembered the future before his regression. During the fall of the world to demons, the bourgeois family had supported the resistance. Sinclair had eventually become the head of her family and worked behind the scenes to protect countless lives. The vulnerable girl before him would grow into a hero who endured unimaginable trials. Thinking of that future filled him with guilt and a sense of debt. He could not give her love, but he could at least offer comfort. So he quietly returned her hug, and this was the only good thing Vikir had done in this romantic sequence. The story shifted to the next morning at Coliseo Academy. Professor Morgue appeared before Deputy Principal Winston with a detailed report. He explained that he had doubled the number of trees and flowers as part of the Academy's green project. He had also replaced the mana stones in the arena where the final ranking match and parent-student lesson would take place. However, he worried that the new mana stones had not been fully tested for durability, which could cause stability problems later. Winston praised Professor Morgue for always prioritizing student safety. Professor Morg downplayed the compliment and claimed he simply wanted to secure his own position, but Winston did not believe that modest excuse. To show cooperation, Winston presented a new solution. He introduced a bracelet artifact that allowed the wearer to pass through newly constructed mana walls. The bracelet stored mana and functioned as a security key. Student bracelets were already being mass-produced, and distribution was the only remaining step. Professor Morg expressed surprise at the advanced artifact and requested similar bracelets for teachers. Winston agreed that while this was not the ultimate answer to internal security, it would certainly help. After thanking him, Professor Morg raised another matter not included in the report. He brought up the issue of firing Professor Sandy. He argued that complaints described her as lazy and negligent in her duties as an Imperial Capital Guard. Reports also mentioned her frequent drunkenness and absence during important operations such as searches, captures, and arrests. He emphasized that most crucial information about wanted criminals came from anonymous tips rather than her efforts. According to Professor Morg, her behavior damaged both the guard's reputation and the Academy's image. Winston interrupted and stated firmly that he would handle the situation personally. When Professor Morg pressed about dismissal, Winston insisted that punishment decisions fell under his authority. The atmosphere became tense. Professor Morg felt frustrated by what he saw as unreasonable protection. Winston ended the discussion and ordered him to leave. Walking down the hallway, Professor Morg's anger grew. He sensed that Winston was hiding something significant. The emotional reaction from a usually composed leader strengthened his suspicion. He met a subordinate and inquired about a requested investigation. The man handed over a document detailing an incident from 35 years ago, shortly after the Empire had united. The document described the coup d'état of the 47 family heads, one of the bloodiest events in Imperial history. During that uprising, numerous nobles had stormed the palace and been massacred. In the end, 46 of the 47 family heads were executed. Only one survived and was imprisoned in Lubelbach prison. The record concluded with chilling finality, emphasizing the near-total annihilation of powerful bloodlines. Professor Morg studied the document carefully and questioned why it was relevant. The subordinate revealed a disturbing possibility. Evidence suggested that Winston and Professor Sandy were connected to that catastrophic incident, the worst coup ever recorded. The revelation deepened the mystery surrounding the Academy's leadership. Now Professor Morg's suspicion transformed into quiet determination, as hidden ties between past treason and present authority began to surface, hinting that the shadows of history still influence the Academy's future. 1 week later, the great imperial capital Venesior became more crowded and lively than ever before. The streets shone with luxury carriages, noble banners, and countless visitors who had arrived from every corner of the empire. This excitement happened because Colosseo Academy was hosting its special parent-student joint lesson, one of the most important events of the year. As one of the most prestigious academies in the world, Colosseo attracted not only talented students, but also the empire's most powerful noble families. Members of the 7 great families attended personally, along with nobles from every district. Their presence filled the academy with overwhelming pressure and attention. However, the main highlight of the event was the final exam's grand ranking match. This match would determine the strongest students and confirm their honor in front of their families. Every parent, noble, and student focused their full attention on the arena. Among the participants were the Ice Corps first-year elites, Tudor and Bianca. Representing the Fire Corps first years were Grenouille and Sinclair. Standing above them as a senior competitor was Dolores, the powerful third year from the Fire Corps. Each participant carried their family pride, ambition, and hidden emotions into the arena. As Vikir watched the preparation, his eyes stopped on Sinclair's image. Her calm expression brought back memories from their emotional conversation 1 week earlier. That night, she had apologized for her clingy behavior and revealed her true feelings honestly. She had asked him one final question about his future, wondering if he might gain freedom after achieving his goals. Her question had surprised him deeply because he had never thought that far ahead, emotionally. His goals existed in a cruel and distant future, filled with suffering and responsibility. Still, he had admitted that if the day ever came when he fulfilled everything he must do, he might finally gain some personal freedom. Sinclair had accepted that answer with quiet determination. She had made it clear that her feelings belonged to her alone, and she would continue waiting regardless of rejection. She had not demanded anything in return. Instead, she had chosen patience and hope. Vikir, feeling concerned, had warned her not to abandon everything she had worked so hard to achieve. Her efforts, achievements, and dreams still held great value. Hearing his words had made her cry, but she had also felt grateful. His honesty had strengthened her resolve rather than breaking it. Back in the present, Vikir reflected on her decision. He understood that she planned to win the ranking match before leaving the academy. Her goal was to end her academy life with pride and meaning. At the same time, he became aware that his own days at the academy were also limited. Before his regression, he had read memoirs of Colosseo Academy heroes. Those records had often mentioned a terrible event called the Colosseo tragedy. This tragedy would become one of the most devastating incidents before the world fell to demons. The one responsible was not human, but a demon, a being whose power reminded humanity of its helplessness. According to his knowledge of the future, this tragedy would happen in about 6 months. That deadline weighed heavily on his mind. He knew he could not remain at the academy forever. After completing his preparations, he planned to leave and travel to Nouvelle Vague, the most feared prison in the world. This prison held unimaginable suffering, cruelty, and trials. It was a place where survival itself became a challenge. Despite knowing the dangers, he believed he must go there to prepare for the coming fall of the world. Soon, the arena announcer called for order as the final ranking matches prepared to begin. The first match featured Tudor and Bianca, 2 elite first-year students from the Ice Corps. Their families watched closely from the stands. Tudor's father, Cervantes La Mancha Don Quixote, stood proudly as the patriarch of the Azure Spearman family, one of the 7 great families. He shouted loudly, placing enormous pressure on his son to win and protect the family's honor. His voice echoed across the arena, filled with pride and strict expectations. Nearby, Bianca's father, Roderick Pau Usher, the patriarch of the mystical Archer family, reacted with visible annoyance toward Cervantes's loud behavior. He urged his daughter to demonstrate true class and prove her superiority. Both fathers displayed the fierce pride and competitiveness of noble bloodlines. In the arena, Tudor and Bianca faced each other with serious expressions. Tudor felt intense pressure because his father watched closely. He resolved to win no matter what. Bianca, equally determined, refused to hold back. Their rivalry ran deeper than simple rankings. Both carried personal pride and the weight of their family names. Their past competitions and small arguments fueled their determination to defeat each other today. Watching from the side, Grenouille observed them with frustration. As a member of the 7 great families himself, he felt embarrassed by their childish behavior. He turned his attention toward Sinclair, whom he considered his rival. He declared his intention to take the top summa cum laude position and refused to let a commoner claim that honor or the interim student council presidency. In his mind, he believed his bold declaration would impress her and prove his worth. However, Sinclair reacted coldly. She dismissed his behavior as childish and unworthy of serious attention. Her blunt response confused and embarrassed him completely. His confidence weakened instantly as he realized his attempt to impress her had failed entirely. Well, his confidence left the chat. Elsewhere, Dolores sat alone, lost in thought. She struggled with guilt and uncertainty. Ever since the incident involving Sinclair's father, Sinclair had avoided her completely. Dolores wanted to explain herself, but did not know how. Her fear of rejection and shame kept her silent. Then she noticed Sinclair standing close to Vikir. Their closeness sparked an idea. She considered asking Vikir for help to reconnect with Sinclair. Although she felt this approach was underhanded, she believed she had no other choice left. As Dolores gathered courage and approached him, something unexpected happened. Suddenly, a small girl ran toward Vikir and threw herself into his arms. She called him father with complete joy and affection. The moment froze everyone nearby. Shock spread in the nearby area as students and parents whispered in disbelief. They could not comprehend how a first-year academy student could have a child. Some observers even noticed the resemblance between them, which only deepened their confusion. Dolores collapsed to her knees in complete shock, thinking this was a canon event. Her mind could not process what she had just witnessed. The unexpected arrival of the little girl created a wave of chaos, misunderstanding, and suspicion. Vikir quickly ran away from the crowded arena while carrying Pomeranian in his arms, as if he had robbed a candy store and now had the cops chasing after him. He moved fast through the area until he finally reached a quiet place where no one else was around. He stopped and took a breath, relieved to have escaped the eyes and whispers of nobles and students. In his arms, Pomeranian laughed happily, clearly enjoying the sudden run and treating it like an amusement park ride. She felt excitement instead of fear, treating the entire situation like a fun game rather than a serious misunderstanding. Pomeranian cheerfully expressed how fun the run felt and encouraged him to do it again. Vikir gently warned her not to repeat that kind of joke in crowded places because it created dangerous misunderstandings, like making him the father of a child at such a young age. Hearing his tone, Pomeranian became worried and asked if he was angry. She quickly apologized, her small face showing guilt and regret. Vikir immediately reassured her and gently patted her head. He explained that he was not angry but was simply dealing with complicated circumstances. He then asked why she was walking around alone. He remembered hearing that she had arrived with Osiris and wondered where he was now. Pomeranian innocently explained that Osiris had left briefly to collect entrance bracelets while she played hide-and-seek with the Burrow family members. However, she had grown impatient and sneaked away because she wanted to see Vikir as soon as possible. Vikir imagined the panic this would cause and realized that Hugo and the others must be searching everywhere in panic. Losing a child inside the massive academy, especially during such an important event, would create serious trouble. He decided to return her safely before things became worse. He prepared to escort her back to Osiris immediately. As they began walking, Vikir suddenly stopped. His instincts alerted him to danger. He sensed someone approaching silently from behind. He slowly turned his head and discovered an old woman standing there. She held a broken utensil in her hand and stared at him with strange intensity. Her presence felt unnatural and overwhelming. Vikir instantly recognized her identity. She was Novikov Lune Quo Vadis, the Pope of the Lune Church, and the matriarch of the Quo Vadis family. She was not an ordinary person, but a living legend. She had lived for over 200 years, surviving since the Warring States period before the Empire united. As one of the oldest living saintesses, she held immense influence and historical importance. Her existence alone carried enormous weight. Her appearance shocked him deeply because, in his previous life before regression, she had already been dead at that point in time. History recorded that she died after being poisoned by an insider who desired her power. Her presence there meant something had changed. The timeline was no longer exactly the same. He realized that his own actions since regression might have already altered important events. He also understood how valuable her power could be for humanity's future. A saintess of her level could help resist demons and protect countless lives. However, before he could think further, she suddenly hit him with the broken utensil and demanded water. Her behavior appeared unstable and childlike. Vikir realized that despite her legendary status, her mind no longer functioned normally. Her mental state made her unpredictable and unreliable. Pomeranian immediately became protective and angrily protested against the old woman hitting her uncle. At that moment, Dolores arrived. She looked surprised and worried to see the Pope wandering alone. She wondered where Sir Peter, the Pope's attendant, had disappeared. The Pope continued demanding water while holding the broken utensil. Vikir pointed toward a nearby well, suggesting that water was available there. However, the Pope insisted on using the broken utensil. Everyone watching became confused. The utensil contained a large hole, making it impossible to carry water normally. Then the Pope dropped the utensil into the well, demonstrating her strange philosophy. She explained that things should remain in their natural form rather than being forcibly repaired. According to her belief, flaws and cracks should not always be fixed directly, but instead embraced within something larger. Her words sounded symbolic and philosophical, but her actions remained impractical. Vikir quietly observed her behavior and then decided to demonstrate his own solution. He summoned his spider companion, Baby Madam, and commanded it to create a web around the broken utensil. The spider quickly spun strong threads that covered the hole completely. With the web sealing the damage, the utensil could now hold water properly. This clever solution surprised everyone present. Pomeranian reacted with excitement and amazement, thinking she had witnessed magic. Dolores also watched in stunned silence. Vikir explained that when facing limitations, a person should use every possible method to overcome obstacles. Instead of accepting failure or forcing things blindly, one must find creative ways to succeed. Soon after, Sir Peter arrived, clearly exhausted and worried from searching everywhere. He expressed relief upon finding the Pope safe. The Pope then reflected on Vikir's actions and acknowledged the importance of persistence and adaptability. She recognized his determination to overcome challenges rather than surrendering to limitations. Her words carried deeper meaning, as if she saw something special in his future path. Afterward, Sir Peter escorted the Pope away. Before leaving, she expressed quiet gratitude toward Vikir. Her final words hinted that his actions allowed her to leave peacefully, though the full meaning remained unclear. With the Pope gone, Dolores apologized for her unusual behavior and explained that her mental condition had worsened recently. She nervously laughed, trying to ease the awkward atmosphere. Then she hesitated before bringing up the earlier misunderstanding involving Pomeranian calling him father. Her question embarrassed him immediately. He accidentally choked on his drink before quickly clarifying the truth. He explained that Pomeranian was not his daughter, but the younger sister of someone he knew. The misunderstanding had happened because of her playful personality. Dolores felt relieved upon hearing this explanation. Although she pretended to be calm, her inner relief became obvious. Meanwhile, Pomeranian noticed Dolores staring at her strangely and felt confused by the attention. Vikir asked if that question was the reason Dolores had searched for him. She began explaining that she wanted to ask him for a favor. However, before she could finish, an announcement echoed throughout the academy. The third-year final ranking match was about to begin, determining the summa cum laude position. Dolores immediately panicked because her match was approaching. She apologized and promised to speak with him later. Vikir revealed that he was heading to the arena as well, so they decided to walk together. As they left, the academy continued buzzing with excitement. Meanwhile, at the academy entrance, two mysterious girls arrived and quietly looked around. One of them scanned the area carefully, clearly searching for someone important.